Good afternoon, class. Welcome to the afternoon read aloud. I don't know how else to introduce this. Maybe I'll just sing my song. I gotta take myself to the read aloud. I'm gonna learn till I can't no more. Oh, that was flat, Mr. K. Not the best singing voice. That's all right. I'm gonna do it anyway. So I'm going to read part of chapter 16 today because I want to pace this and I don't want these to be too long. Remember where we left off? So the crickets were chirping, summer's coming to an end, and Charlotte is going to lay an egg sack or make an egg sack and lay lots of eggs. And this is going to be super important, so pay close attention. She made one little comment of her time is coming to an end. And that was a really important comment. I don't know if you noticed it last chapter. And Wilbur is going to the fair. Mr. Zuckerman showing off Wilbur. And what does the word say on the web? It says radiant. So that means bright and lively. I know I said that last time too. So pay close attention because our story is coming to an end. So we're getting to our solution. We're looking for the message. And there was a message last chapter about all good things coming to an end. And grown-ups will always say this. And it used to get me so upset as a kid because I never understood why. All good things come to an end. And it was like, why? Why can't good things just go on forever? And it was so frustrating. So think about that message. I like to think about it the other way, too, that all bad things come to an end, too. If all good things come to an end, all bad things come to an end, too. So, chapter 16, off to the fair. The night before the county fair, everybody went to bed early. Fern and Avery were in bed by 8. Avery lay dreaming that the Ferris wheel had stopped and that he was on the top car. Fern lay dreaming that she was getting sick in the swings. Those don't seem like good dreams. I do not like rides, by the way. Making a connection. I don't like fair rides especially. Lurvy was in bed by 8:30. He lay dreaming that he was throwing baseballs at a cloth cat and winning a genuine Navajo blanket. Mr. and Mrs. Zuckerman were in bed by 9. Mrs. Zuckerman lay dreaming about a deep freeze unit. Mr. Zuckerman lay dreaming about Wilbur. He dreamt that Wilbur had grown until he was 116 feet long and 92 feet high, and that he had won all the prizes at the fair and was covered with blue ribbons, and even had a blue ribbon tied to the end of his tail. So here's our little picture. Here's big Wilbur, first prize. So at fairs, they have animals and they give them prizes. I don't know how you judge what the best pig is. I guess the biggest one. So that's what Mr. Zuckerman's having his dream. Oh, man. I'm dreaming that my pig is the biggest and best. Down in the barn cellar, the animals too went to sleep early, all except Charlotte. Tomorrow would be fair day. Every creature planned to get up early to see Wilbur off on his great adventure. When morning came, everybody got up at daylight. The day was hot. Up the road at the Arable's house, Fern lugged a pail of hot water to her room and took a sponge bath. Then she put on her prettiest dress because she knew she would see boys at the fair. Uh-oh, Fern, thinking about dresses and looking pretty for boys. You're too young. Mrs. Arable scrubbed the back of Avery's neck and wet his hair and parted it and brushed it down hard till it stuck to the top of his head. All but about 6 hairs that stood straight up. Maybe it's like mine. Avery put on clean underwear, clean blue jeans, and a clean shirt. Mr. Arable dressed, ate breakfast, and then went out and polished his truck. He had offered to drive everybody to the fair, including Wilbur. Bright and early, Lurvy put clean straw in Wilbur's crate and lifted it into the pig pen. The crate was green. In gold letters it said, Zuckerman's Famous Pig. Charlotte had her web looking fine for the occasion. Wilbur ate his breakfast slowly. He tried to look radiant without getting food in his ears. In the kitchen, Mrs. Zuckerman suddenly made an announcement. Homer, she said to her husband, I'm going to give that pig a buttermilk bath. A what? Said Mr. Zuckerman. A buttermilk bath. My grandmother used to bathe her pig with buttermilk when it got dirty. I just remembered. Wilbur's not dirty, said Mr. Zuckerman proudly. He's filthy behind the ears, said Mrs. Zuckerman. Every time Lurvy slops him, the food runs down around the ears, then it dries and forms a crust. He also has a smudge on one side where he lays in the manure. He lays in clean straw, corrected Mr. Zuckerman. Well, he's dirty and he's going to have a bath. Mr. Zuckerman sat down weakly and ate a donut. His wife went to the woodshed. When she returned, she wore rubber boots and an old raincoat, and she carried a bucket of buttermilk and a small wooden paddle. "Edith, you are crazy," murmured Zuckerman, but she paid no attention to him. Together, they walked to the pig pen. Mrs. Zuckerman wasted no time. She climbed in with Wilbur and went to work. Dipping her paddle in the buttermilk, she rubbed him all over. The geese gathered around to see the fun, and so did the sheep and the lambs. Even Templeton poked his head out cautiously to watch Wilbur get a buttermilk bath. Charlotte got so interested she lowered herself on a drag line so she could see better. Wilbur stood still and closed his eyes. He could feel the buttermilk trickling down his sides. He opened his mouth and some buttermilk ran into it. It was delicious. He felt radiant and happy. When Mrs. Zuckerman got through and rubbed him dry, he was the cleanest, prettiest pig you've ever seen. And here's Wilbur getting a buttermilk bath. Now, I thought buttermilk tasted good when I was younger. Now, let me tell you, it's disgusting. It's good in cooking, but if you just drink straight buttermilk, ugh, I don't know why it sounds good, but ugh, it's sour. It's not the best, but Wilbur's a pig. He eats anything. So he's getting a buttermilk bath. I don't know why that sounds good, but I don't think I would want a buttermilk bath. I don't know. All right, we're almost done. He was pure white, pink around the ears, snout as smooth as silk. The Zuckermans went up to change into their best clothes. Lurvy went to shave and put on his plaid shirt and purple necktie. The animals were left to themselves in the barn. The 7 goslings paraded around their mother. "Please, please, 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 take us to the fair," begged the goslings. Then all 7 began teasing to go. "Please, please, please." They made quite the racket. "Children," snapped the goose, "we're staying quietly at home. Only Wilbur is going to the fair." Just then Charlotte interrupted. "I shall go too," she said softly. "I have decided to go with Wilbur. He may need me. We can't tell what may happen at the fairgrounds. Somebody's got to go along. Who knows how to write? And I think Templeton better come too. I might need somebody to run errands and do general work."
I'm staying right here," grumbled the rat. "I haven't the slightest interest in fairs."
"That's because you've never been to one," remarked the old sheep. "A fair is a rat's paradise. Everybody spills food at the fair. A rat can creep out late at night and have a feast. In the horse barn you will find oats that the trotters and pacers have spilled. In the trampled grass of the infield you'll find old discarded lunchboxes containing the foul remains of peanut butter sandwiches, hard-boiled eggs, cracker crumbs, bits of donuts, and particles of cheese. In the hard-packed dirt of the midway after the glaring lights are out and the people have gone home to bed, you'll find veritable treasures of popcorn, fragments, frozen custard dribblings, candied apples abandoned by tired children, sugar fluff crystals, salted almonds, popsicles, partially gnawed ice cream cones, and the wooden sticks of lollipops. Everywhere is loot for a rat, in tents, in booths, in haylofts. Why, a fair has enough disgusting leftover food to satisfy a whole army of rats. That's the old sheep talking, and is it the sheep or lamb? Sheep, I think? Yes. And he's saying to Templeton the rat, you should go to the fair because rats love fairs. And that's true. There's garbage, dirt everywhere, and rats are dirty animals that really like that stuff. So Templeton's eyes were blazing.
"Is this true?" he asked. "Is this appetizing yarn of yours true? I like high living, and what you say tempts me."
"Oh, it's true," said the old sheep. "Go to the fair, Templeton. You will find that the conditions at the fair will surpass your wildest dreams. Buckets with sour mash sticking to them, tin cans containing particles of tuna fish, greasy paper bags stuffed with rotten..."
"Oh, that's enough," cried Templeton. "Don't tell me any more. I'm going."
Good, said Charlotte, winking at the old sheep. "Now then, there is no time to be lost. Wilbur soon will be put into the crate. Templeton and I must get in the crate right now and hide ourselves." The rat didn't waste a minute. He scampered over to the crate, crawled between the slats, and pulled straw up over him so he was hidden from sight. "All right, I'm next," said Charlotte. She sailed into the air, let out a drag line, and dropped gently to the ground. Then she climbed to the side of the crate and hid herself inside the knothole. The old sheep nodded. "What a cargo!" "What cargo?" she said. "Or what cargo?" she said. That sign ought to say Zuckerman's famous pig in 2 stowaways. Look out! The people are coming, umming, shouted the gander. Cheese it, cheese it, cheese it. And that's where we'll leave off. So they're hiding in the crate, and Templeton the rat and Charlotte the spider have to hide because they're not supposed to go to the fair. It's supposed to be Wilbur. So they have to hide under the straw. Templeton is going to the fair because he wants all of that food and scraps. And I'm going to share the video of Templeton's song because it's one of my favorites from the movie, where Templeton is just in heaven at the fair and he's so happy. So the first half of that chapter, we're talking about who's going to the fair. So it's our character, Wilbur. The Arables are going. Fern's going. So all of our important characters are going. Templeton fantasizing about the fair. He loves it. He's excited now. We know he's a selfish character. And I'll share that video because it's really a cool little song he sings. Love Templeton, the character. Charlotte is going, and Wilbur begged her to go, and Charlotte does everything for Wilbur. So I hope you're following along. I hope you're enjoying these. We're getting close to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and I will record another video on Monday.